Did you watch this minute in anticipation of a recording that we had planned, or was this your first intentional viewing?
I have watched minute 101 of Home Alone in preparation for this moment that we're experiencing right now, me and you, a few times because we were on track to record, edit, and release. And then I guess we hit an involuntary hiatus in that you were close to death.
When you paint it that way, it sounds scary. I much prefer what I think is the phrasing on the children's book series, a series of unfortunate events.
Okay.
Especially for all of our NASCAR listeners out there. I don't want to alarm them because Kyle Busch just recently died with the same vibes as I had for a few weeks there. And that scares our listeners with a left turn affinity.
Of course, the Home Alone Minute family extends their condolences to all of the Busch family and NASCAR. I, for one, am grateful that the Lord took Kyle and not you.
This actually feels like a lot of pressure.
The end of Saving Private Ryan.
Kyle Busch could have let me off the hook.
He just wants you to earn this.
If we're talking potential impact, I have to believe that whatever his was is an order of magnitude larger than mine.
Well, yeah. And this is morbid and insensitive too. I hate the idea of a man with a family passing away well before his time, but I am grateful that you're here with me.
It has to mean something else. Nothing means anything.
Did it put things into a sharper focus for you? And maybe you weren't sick the entire time that we were not recording, but you had a newfound respect for how finite your time on this earth is. And so part of this break was you feeling fine, but going, I can't talk about Home Alone for another hour. Like the Lord could take me at any moment, and you needed some time to kind of get over that feeling.
I shudder at the thought that could even be considered as a possibility, because it was quite the opposite in that as things become more clear, this is the thing I should not put off. In the same way as Alec Guinness and Queen Latifah have their last holidays.
This is our life's work, talking about Home Alone minute by minute, which I got to say, Jerod, our life's work is drawing to a close. So I don't know what we're going to do in about 2 or 3 weeks, but
whatever it is, it will be informed by that newfound perspective.
I like it.
Which is my favorite emo band from the mid-2000s.
Newfound
They used to be called
Perspective.
Newfound Perspective, but they shortened it to Newfound Perspective.
Right. Is newfound 1 or 2 words?
2.
Okay. Do they have like a period at the end of the name too? Is it like all lowercase?
It used to be 4 words with A. It was A Newfound Perspective. And then they dropped the A to just Newfound Perspective, and it was all lowercase, all one word. But now they got signed to a major label in like 2002. So they just had to normalize the name a bit.
And they got a new MySpace profile every time they changed too. They had to like rebuild from the ground up.
Yeah, it just wasn't worth it.
Their top 8 was all their old band names.
Just think of the intern hours that went into that.
We're pretty we're deep into the credits now. We're just watching credits go by. We've got some crew, we got some cast, and I think at the end of minute 101 we start getting the music credits, which are always fun to see in a movie.
Yeah, we're just about to go into music credits. I would say this minute, which I appreciate you've already summarized a bit.
It's what I do. Yeah, I'm just seamlessly weaving it in.
Because tell me if this is a fair characterization of this minute, that the first half of the minute is a wide variety of vocational credits.
Yes.
And then the second half is actors, the cast.
Crew and cast instead of cast and crew.
It starts with what I think a few years ago would have been referred to as essential workers.
Yeah.
What stands out to you in that first half?
So last batch of credits, I think we both sort of zoomed in on some people that just sounded interesting, whether we liked the name or we liked the sound of the job or we were interested in their credits. So, we had the big wigs up front, right? We had directors and producers and stuff like that. And now, like you said, we've got the trades, we've got the vocational stuff here. So the job that stood out to me was Did you have somebody too? Because I wonder if we picked out the same job to zoom in on. And if not, that's okay.
No.
Okay. So the guy that I was interested in was a job called Standby Painter. Standby
John
Painter.
Mikels.
John Mikels.
Mikels?
Yeah.
Mikels?
I'm going to assume that that's Mikels. It's Mikels. John, if you're out there, please correct us. Email us at pronunciationcorrections@verygmail.com.
Or standbypainter@verygmail.com.
So immediately I was like, what is a standby painter? I can make some deductions based on the name itself.
Isn't it a Tammy Wynette song?
Yeah. I found a helpful video. I think this guy's name is Paul McGee, Paul McGee, McGhie.
We're going to say any M name starts with the my sound.
Okay.
So Mikels, and this is Paul
McGee. He's got a YouTube channel. I think it's called Blood, Sweat, and Duct Tape. And he's got a series within his channel where he just breaks down these very specific like movie credit rolls. So he had like a quick like 2-minute video on what a standby painter is. So I really appreciated that. Paul, you can get back to us at yourwelcome@verygmail.com. But I really appreciated your video. It was great.
This has been your welcome.
But a standby painter is there to do what the name sort of implies, to do any standby painting, any touch-ups on the set that involve paint. That's what they're there for. So making the walls look fresh, clean, old and dirty, if that's what it takes. So usually a standby painter is working pretty closely, or at least on standby with like the director of photography, who's, setting up the shot, and then they look at the shot together and they decide if anything sort of needs like to get brightened up a little bit, to get a little touch up, that kind of stuff. But John Mikels is our standby painter on Home Alone.
It's such a perfectly named credit because
there's a little confusion,
exactly
right? Yeah.
What I thought.
What does a best boy do? You need to watch a video for that. But standby painter, you can kind of draw some conclusions and you'll be pretty on the money.
Because when I think about hair and makeup, right? Like you think about that girl who has a Chewbacca style bandolier running from a shoulder, and then like a schemer from Shining Time Station style belt with all the little items in it. And she's got hairspray and blush and like all those things just at the ready. That's who I pictured, but for paint. And it sounds like that's right on the money.
I do like the picture of a guy like almost like at the ready to go into a sprint. Like he's on like the starting block, but he's got a bucket of paint in one hand and a brush in the other. And he's just waiting for the DP to say, go. And he runs out there and touches it up a little bit.
I think I won't be the only person to draw the line to the paint can imagery that's present.
There you go.
In this film.
Yeah.
Would the irony be that is done by set designers and he never touched it, nor did the head painter?
And I wonder if they just went over to John's shelf and was like, hey, we're going to borrow these. He's like, oh, no.
Or better yet, he gets double credit as paint consultant.
Yeah. It's a second paycheck that they have to cut him.
They're like, what would this weigh? And he's like, do you have like an iron bar? 2 of these.
So as I dug around for anything more about John Mikels, I came across a piece of writing that I'd seen before, but digging back into it, I was reminded of more stuff. A oral history of Home Alone that was written up by John Hughes's son, and sort of interviewing a lot of the cast and crew about their time on the set and making the movie. Really fascinating read, and please remind me to put a link to it in the notes. But Freddie Heiss, stunt coordinator, also listed in this minute, shared a story about our standby painter, John Mikels, and it sounds like a pretty baller move on the set. So they are shooting the scene where Daniel Stern falls down the icy stairs down into the basement. We're familiar.
Right.
Right. And the stuntman, Leon, just couldn't like fall down the steps fast enough. Like it just wasn't looking correct because he wasn't like sliding down what was supposed to be sort of icy stairs, right? So, and this is Freddie High stunt coordinator telling a story about John Mikels. But apparently what John Mikels did is he took a piece of plywood and painted it to look like a set of stairs. So Leon, the stuntman, could slide down plywood instead of try to slide down stairs and get that like sort of, he kept like stopping, you know? So he got like a smoother fall. And that's John Mikels earning his paycheck and making our perfect movie just a little more perfect.
I love people who are solutions oriented. And I think that's what is so great about not only John, but a lot of the folks in these credits, because they are facing problems that don't yet have playbooks. Right?
Yeah.
Some
movie making is
80%,
full of stories like that.
Yeah. Some 80% of what you do might be rote. And it's like, I've done a billion of these. I've done a billion of these. This ain't my first rodeo here. But then you have some novel challenge, and it takes a creative and, like I said before, a solutions-oriented mindset to tackle those challenges.
Yeah, and that's what you get when you hire John Mikels to be your standby painter.
So if you are ever in need, and in the what area? Where does he currently reside?
I did not find a current residence in my research.
Well, let's see if we can get that, because I think as part of our life's work, we want to dox him.
We don't want to tell the world where you live, John Mikels, but we would like to stop by.
Let's split the difference.
With a pizza.
Why don't we just link to that article that was written by
James Hughes.
So it sounds like John didn't look at situations like that and go, not my problem. Instead, he pitched in and had a make it happen spirit.
Well, we don't know if he had a really bad attitude about having to do this. We're assuming best intentions,
acceptable.
We're assuming best character, but he might have been, like huffing and puffing and rolling his eyes the whole time he did that. Like maybe he's talking to the DP and John Hughes and saying like, hey, he's having a really hard time falling down those stairs. Is there anything he can do? And John Mikels is like, well, I mean, I could paint a piece of plywood to look like the stairs and he could just slide down it like a slide. And he said it as if like, that's ridiculous, Yeah,
don't do that.
And they were like, yeah, great. How much time you need? An hour? Cool. We'll go on lunch. You get to work. And he's like, oh man, that's very possible. And like everybody's like playing hacky sack and like singing songs and stuff. And they're all just waiting. Hey, how's that plywood looking, John? He's like, 20 more minutes. And he's like just mad about it. Everybody's having fun without him.
I think that just adds to the beauty of it, because they're all like, you love it. And he's like, no, I don't. Like everybody has that like favorite stage manager.
Yeah, the curmudgeon.
That like guy who's like hauling around some like flying array speaker or like trying to like save your life. And you don't want anyone else for the job. But man, if he's just not pissed to be alive.
Just a sourpuss all the time.
Yeah.
But when John Mikels goes to the premiere and he sees it work, right? A little tear in his eye. And he remembers why he got into this business in the first place.
The money.
Oh, the joy on the children's faces.
Oh, yes. The money joy. I still start with
by money. I mean joy on children's faces. That is my currency.
Yeah, his children, because his dad has
he made so much money for them.
Who else was going to? Did you make any money for his kids?
I
contributed partially.
He's contract labor, right? Like standby painter's not getting royalty checks, is he? He didn't do it for points.
I would say that is not a typical contract.
Not John Mikels. He's a Steve Albini purist.
Oh, interesting. So like even as the industry moves towards like you're a standby painter, you got to get points. Yeah. He's like, no.
He writes a very like grumpy letter to John Hughes, like, look, I'm going to show up. I'm going to work for this amount of time. You're going to pay me this much money. That's how it's going to be done. Nice and simple. I'm punk rock. And they're like, okay, back off. It's fine.
Cool. We will gladly let you be poor.
You would have been a billionaire, but sure.
You could have taken those resources and given them away to all the things that you care about, but it's okay. Let us keep them and we'll squander those resources.
That's how it's done.
What do you wish you knew about John, but don't yet?
Is he happy? No, but for real, like after reading that story about painting a piece of plywood to look like look like stairs so a stuntman can fall down them more smoothly, I got to think that he's got 40 more stories like that he could rattle off the top of his head, you know? So that's what I would love to sit down and just hear him go off. Like, what movies does he work on? What does he remember, like, having to be inventive and creative like that? How much fun would that be for any of these, like, vocational guys to just sit down and, like, tell me about those times where you had to solve problems. Tell me about those times where, like, you were presented with an impossible feat, and yet we still made it work and the movie got made. I could listen to those stories all day.
Like the time where he spray painted Rob Lowe's head because he had not yet accepted that he had a very small but noticeable on camera bald spot.
Yeah, and the hairdresser had mono that day, so like someone had to step in. He like walked by and like accidentally, in quotation marks, sprayed him.
But
the
he
director
had to
said,
go
like,
and
fake it.
get the mix that morning to do the walnut color, right? It's premeditated in every way.
Yeah.
But the delivery is like, well,
and like a year later, Rob Lowe's like, sitting in the bath and going like, wait a second. Like the conspiracy sort of like unfolds in his brain for the first time. A year later, it's like, oh no.
Rob Lowe's got push pins in his bath. With yarn interconnecting them.
Yeah. He calls him up. It's like, hey, Rob Lowe here. Yeah, we worked together on that thing. When you painted my head? Very briefly, for a while, the house next door to me was an Airbnb, and it was rented by this married couple who were making a movie in our area. The husband was directing this movie, and the wife was the hairstylist on the movie. And they were both industry people, like lots of credits and lots of stories and stuff. It was fun to talk to them, like when I took the dogs out and stuff. The project that she had just finished working on was Picard, which was like, the Star Trek Jean-Luc Picard, like years later series or whatever.
Right.
And I remember asking her, like, but he doesn't have any hair. So what do you do all day? And she said that like it was her job to sort of like, keep it touched up, and like, she got to shave Jean-Luc Picard's head like every day. What a job.
That is funny.
The movies, man. Like I just love this stuff.
Right, because she's spending way more time with everyone else on the cast than the guy whose name is on the poster.
Yeah, which is that kind of thing is true for all of these tradesmen, tradeswomen, tradespeople.
Persons currently experiencing trade.
There are so many people working so hard to make sure that Macaulay Culkin as an 8-year-old kid can look great on camera. And it can look like Daniel Stern is falling down a set of stairs, even though A, it's not actually Daniel Stern, and B, it's not even actually a set of stairs. Like, this stuff is incredible. I just...
Not an 8-year-old.
Oh, great. Like someone had to put the bagels out in the morning, and someone had to do the touch-up painting on the walls, and someone had to like make sure that the plants in the house didn't die while they were filming. Like, I don't know, it's like all that stuff. Like, it's a lot of work.
Have you ever gone to a restaurant where there's a candle on the table?
Yeah.
Have you ever been to a restaurant with a candle on the table without thinking about who lit that candle?
Do you always do the same thing I do, is like look down to see if it's a real candle, or they got one of like the battery powered tea lights?
Yeah, if it's one of the battery ones, I ask them to swap it out.
Can I get a real candle over here, please?
Do you want me to pay you in LED money?
I'm not paying full price for this.
Flame broiled money. I have a crisp $1 that's been sitting next to a candle.
You take your LED lights, get out of here. Go make some coupons if that's what you want to do. I was here for a meal.
It takes a village.
Yes.
And I think I have a bit of a meta credits question regarding the second half of this minute.
Okay. The cast part.
Some characters are named. Some characters are unnamed.
And
some characters are unnamed with a name in parentheses.
Some characters are named and described.
So if I can give you a few examples.
Please do. Let's break them all down.
The different buckets.
Yeah. Kevin.
I think
that's a name.
Right. Okay. So Kevin. Kevin is probably the number one name that people would go to. Whereas officer number 1,
Mm-hmm.
officer number 2,
Mm-hmm.
that might just be a breaking down of officers who don't necessarily need a name. But then you have another bucket, which is gangster number 1, parentheses, Johnny.
Right.
Because if I were to say Snakes was played by Michael Guido, they'd go, Snakes. I don't know no snakes. But if I say gangster number 2, parentheses, Snakes is played by Michael Guido, they go, oh,
Snakes.
I know
Of
some
course.
gangster number 2 snakes.
If they just put Snakes, everyone's going to be scratching their head. Who was Snakes again?
Right. Which would not at all happen when they go a little bit later into the credits and they see the name Stosh as portrayed by Mark Beltzman.
Who was
Couldn't
Stosh?
do snakes. Well, Stosh is credited just after Santa's Elf, which we've talked about, honestly, in a couple of episodes, I think.
Yeah.
with Sandra.
Nepo hire.
See her now. She's touring in the Phoenix area, not like the U.S.
Yeah.
So you've got Santa's Elf preceding Stosh, and then you have Drugstore Clerk as portrayed by Ann Whitney. So you've got Sandra, Mark, and Ann in this little triplet. Santa's Elf, Stosh, Drugstore Clerk. So I ask, who made that call, and is it a producer?
I don't know who makes that call. There's not a credits writer in the first half of this minute. So
But someone is doing some coordinating, because also credit order matters, as we've talked about in, I want to say minute 1 or 2.
Well, and again, this minute is another sore reminder of how little respect Catherine O'Hara got, at least in the credits of this film, because she shows up after Robert's Blossom.
You don't think that was a gimme to him?
Maybe it was deference to the older actor, but in terms of screen time, in terms of an important role, like we should be Macaulay Culkin, Catherine O'Hara, Joe Pesci, Daniel Stern, John Hurd after that. Maybe Robert's Blossom even before John Hurd.
Question for you. There's a moment in the film when Kate leaves her son home alone.
Yeah, I remember.
Imagine, if you will, 2 scenarios. One in which she does not return, but Old Man Marley still intervenes. Now imagine another scenario in which she returns on the same schedule, but Old Man Marley does not intervene. Sit with that for a moment.
I'll sit. I don't know how convincing this sitting is going to do me. You're saying...
Would you like a parallel task? Because I would also like you to think about how Officer Balzac comes up before Jeff in the credits.
Officer Balzac probably has more words than Jeff.
But they didn't know the command of the screen that he would have yet. Larry Hankin was not crushing it yet.
He
went on to.
Shakespeare's plays, the cast list goes from like highest rank of nobility down. So if Home Alone were to do that, who's at the top of the list?
Gus, because he's the king.
The Polka King in the Midwest. So Gus is at the top, and then you've got maybe Officer Balzac, and then Officers 1 and 2.
See, Shakespeare is truly British in that he's obsessed with class.
Well, and we're talking about cast lists that were written after his death. So I don't know if it's a convention that he held on to and it was continued when they published the folio, or that was the convention that was invented for that publication. Are the McAllisters...
It's not like it was outsourced to France, so the British commentary stands.
Are the McAllisters wealthy enough to be considered nobility?
They're not aristocrats.
Yeah, but we don't have titles in America, but are they rich enough to sort of like we could put them up there?
So residents of the village are slightly elevated above, let's say, residents of the more urban areas.
Yeah. I mean, is the house big enough that they go, you know what, it's pretty much a thane at least. And Uncle Rob seems more well off than Peter. So Uncle Rob would come first in the credits above. I think they would have to go oldest to youngest too. Who's at the bottom of the list? Grocery store clerk?
No,
Jimmy?
because he's still a resident of the village, whereas like Marv and Harry are not.
Oh, yeah. Santa?
Given his vehicular condition,
yeah,
I'd guess he's not. I'd guess he's doing a bit of commuting.
Yeah.
Much to his chagrin.
Maybe a airline desk person in Scranton.
I feel something about The pizza dude?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay.
Because usually
He's a common laborer. Yeah.
Because like he physically is like doing the running, and like that kind of gophering tends to be like the lowest of the low.
And he's got an equally crappy car as Santa.
But at least Santa gets to be stationary.
Yeah. Okay.
Because if you're talking about nobility, they respect some of the trades a bit more than we do in this era of modernity. So like the lineman who's working on the utility pole, he's well above pizza guy.
Sure, but still like below the McAllisters.
Right.
Below Marley. And therefore below granddaughter Marley.
Right. So it's familial, right? Because even if Uncle Frank lives elsewhere, he's still got the bloodline.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the backstory. Maybe that's what drives Harry, is he is actually heir to the throne.
Now we're getting Shakespearean. A ghost came to him and said, "You see that one?
You will be the
Harry?
polka king of the Midwest."
That's the silver tuna. I like it.
Your silver tuna.
Avenge me. And leave the water running.